For centuries, the Ottoman Empire shaped history across 3 continents. But what made the Ottoman Empire so enduring? How did it govern such diverse peoples? What led to its decline after centuries of power? In this documentary, we will explore the rise, administration, society, military strength, and legacy of one of history's greatest empires. The Ottomans trace their origins to the late 13th century. They emerged as one of many small Turkish principalities on the frontier of the crumbling Seljuk Sultanate. Osman I, from whom the dynasty takes its name, united followers around his leadership. They were Ghazis, warriors of faith, who combined religious zeal with the opportunities of conquest. The capture of Bursa in 1326 provided the Ottomans their first major capital. From this base, they crossed into Europe. In 1389, at the Battle of Kosovo, they defeated a coalition of Balkan states. In 1402, they suffered a setback when Timur defeated Sultan Bayezid I, plunging the empire into civil war. But the Ottomans recovered, uniting again under Mehmed I. By the mid-15th century, under Mehmed II, their destiny was clear. They were poised to conquer Constantinople, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire. In 1453, Mehmed II, known as the Conqueror, launched one of history's most famous sieges. The walls of Constantinople, thought impregnable for centuries, fell to massive Ottoman cannons. After 53 days of siege, the city was captured. The fall of Constantinople ended the Byzantine Empire and reshaped the balance of power. The city was renamed Istanbul and became the new Ottoman capital. Mehmed invested heavily in rebuilding it as a center of commerce, learning, and religion. Hagia Sophia was converted into a mosque, while new palaces and markets expanded its grandeur. This conquest shocked Christian Europe and altered global trade, as the Ottomans now controlled the crossroads of Europe and Asia. It marked the true beginning of the empire's rise as a world power. At the heart of the Ottoman Empire was an elaborate system of administration. The Sultan was the supreme authority, commander of the army, head of state, and protector of Islam. Yet the empire was too vast for one man alone. The Divan-i-Humayun, or Imperial Council, was the empire's administrative core. It met at the Sublime Porte, led by the Grand Vizier. Members included military commanders, legal scholars, and bureaucrats. Together, they oversaw taxation, foreign policy, justice, and war. The empire was divided into provinces called vilayets, earlier eyalets. Each was governed by a pasha appointed by the Sultan. Provinces were further subdivided into sanjaks managed by sanjak beys and into qazas, judicial districts overseen by qadis. Local market inspectors, or mutasips, regulated trade, prices, and quality of goods. This administrative hierarchy allowed a central authority in Istanbul to govern diverse territories from Hungary to Iraq, Egypt to Yemen. It was a system that combined flexibility with control, one reason for the empire's remarkable longevity. Law in the Ottoman Empire rested on 2 pillars, Sharia and Qanun. Sharia was Islamic law, rooted in the Quran and tradition, covering family, morality, and worship. Qanun was secular law, issued by the Sultan, governing taxation, criminal justice, and administration. The combination ensured legitimacy among Muslims while allowing rulers to adapt to changing realities. Qadis, judges trained in Islamic law, were crucial at the local level. They presided over courts, issued rulings, supervised waqfs, and authenticated documents. They were respected figures, bridging the state and society. This dual system of law gave the Ottomans both religious authority and administrative flexibility. It helped hold together a vast, multi-ethnic empire where people lived under different customs and faiths. The Ottoman court was the heart of imperial power and culture. Topkapi Palace, overlooking the Bosphorus, served as the Sultan's residence and administrative hub for centuries. Its courtyards, gardens, and chambers symbolized the majesty of the empire. Life inside the palace followed strict hierarchy and ritual. Ceremonies, banquets, and processions projected the Sultan's authority. The harem, often sensationalized in Western imagination, was an institution of politics as much as family. The Valide Sultan, the Sultan's mother, was among the most powerful figures in the empire. She could influence succession, advise her son, and sponsor major public works. The Sultanate of Women, particularly in the 16th and 17th centuries, saw women such as Kosum Sultan wield extraordinary influence. Concubines, too, sometimes shaped political life, while eunuchs administered palace affairs. Palace schools trained future officials and janissary officers. Many were drawn from the devshirme system where Christian boys were levied, converted to Islam, and educated in service of the empire. The Ottoman military was one of the most formidable of its time. At its core stood the janissaries, an elite infantry corps formed from devshirme recruits. They were disciplined, professional, and among the first armies in Europe to adopt firearms. The empire also relied on Sipahi cavalry, supported by the Timar system. Land revenues were granted in exchange for military service, ensuring local support for the army. Ottoman warfare excelled in siege tactics, artillery, and naval power. Victories such as the Battle of Mohacs in 1526 confirmed Ottoman dominance in Central Europe. Yet the military faced challenges. By the 17th century, the janissaries became hereditary and corrupt, resisting reforms. Their once feared discipline eroded. In 1826, Sultan Mahmud II abolished the corps in the Auspicious Incident, paving the way for a modern army. The military was both the empire's greatest strength and, in time, one of its vulnerabilities. The Ottoman Empire was home to extraordinary diversity. Turks, Arabs, Kurds, Greeks, Armenians, Slavs, Jews, and many others lived within its borders. Managing such difference required innovation. The millet system granted religious communities autonomy. Armenians, Greeks, and Jews ran their own schools, courts, and charities. Each millet was led by its religious head, who acted as intermediary with the Sultan. In return, non-Muslims paid the jizya, a head tax, but they were protected subjects of the empire. This system allowed communities to preserve their faith and traditions while ensuring loyalty to the Sultan. It created stability, but also entrenched divisions that, in the 19th century, became fault lines for nationalism and rebellion. Ottoman cities were vibrant centers of trade and culture. Istanbul, with its bazaars, mosques, and workshops, was one of the great cities of the world. Cairo, Damascus, and Aleppo bustled with merchants and scholars. Caravanserais along trade routes connected distant regions. The economy was based on agriculture, but crafts and trade enriched urban centers. Textiles, ceramics, carpets, and metalwork were highly prized. The empire sat at the crossroads of global trade linking Europe, Africa, and Asia. Society was hierarchical but mobile. The ruling askari class of soldiers, administrators, and scholars enjoyed privileges, while the re'aya, the subjects, formed the productive base. Yet through education, service, or wealth, movement between groups was possible. Waqfs, charitable endowments, funded hospitals, schools, and public kitchens, supporting the poor and sustaining community life. In the mountainous regions of the empire, Kurdish emirates such as Botan, Soran, and Baban exercised semi-autonomy. They collected taxes, maintained armies, and preserved Kurdish traditions while acknowledging Ottoman sovereignty. This balance lasted for centuries. But in the 19th century, the drive for centralization threatened Kurdish autonomy. Sultan Mahmud II sought to weaken regional powers. Emir Bedir Khan of Bhotan resisted fiercely, but Ottoman campaigns eventually crushed his rule. The destruction of the Kurdish Emirates marked the end of centuries of local autonomy. It also left a lasting legacy in Kurdish-Ottoman relations, shaping political struggles well into the modern era. The Ottomans nurtured a rich cultural and intellectual life. Scholars contributed to astronomy, medicine, and history. Libraries and manuscript workshops flourished, making Istanbul a hub of learning. Architecture reached new heights under Mimar Sinan, chief architect of the 16th century. His masterpieces, including the Süleymaniye Mosque in Istanbul and the Selimiye Mosque in Edirne, stand as triumphs of design and engineering. Artisans produced stunning ceramics, textiles, and calligraphy. Ottoman miniatures combined Persian influences with unique styles, illustrating manuscripts with vibrant detail. Poetry thrived in Turkish, Persian, and Arabic, reflecting the empire's diversity. The Ottomans were not only conquerors, they were also builders, patrons, and preservers of knowledge. The Ottomans were skilled diplomats balancing powers across Europe and the Middle East. They allied with France against the Habsburgs, signed treaties with Venice, and negotiated with Russia. Ambassadors at the Sublime Porte connected Istanbul to capitals from London to Isfahan, but the 18th and 19th centuries brought decline. Military defeats, economic stagnation, and corruption weakened the empire. Reform became urgent. The Tanzimat reforms promised equality, secular education, new laws, and modern armies. Yet reforms often clashed with tradition, resisted by elites and undermined by rising nationalist movements. In the Balkans, Greece, Serbia, and Bulgaria sought independence. In the Arab lands and among the Kurds, demands for autonomy grew louder. By the late 19th century, the empire was labeled the sick man of Europe. Its economy lagged behind industrial powers. Nationalist revolts and European interventions eroded its territory. The Eastern question, what to do with Ottoman lands, dominated European diplomacy. World War I dealt the final blow. The Ottomans joined the Central Powers. Defeats on multiple fronts, Arab and Kurdish uprisings, and Allied invasions shattered the empire. In 1923, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk abolished the Sultanate and established the Republic of Turkey. After more than 6 centuries, the Ottoman Empire was gone. Yet the legacy of the Ottomans endures. Their architecture dominates skylines from Istanbul to Sarajevo. Their cuisine, music, and traditions enrich cultures across the Middle East, Balkans, and beyond. Their administrative, legal, and cultural innovations shaped modern states. For some, the empire is remembered as a time of coexistence and grandeur. For others, as a period of repression and lost autonomy. The Ottoman story is complex, contested, and deeply influential. What are your thoughts on the Ottoman Empire? If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more explorations of world history.